Hello out there in video land. Just got to get my radio guys going. And we're good to go here on 4680Q, your city, your voice. Paul K. Lemire here with my guest, or I should say co-host. He's here for most of the city council agenda days. Dave Wheeler is in the house. And today, like I said, is not only St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day. I got my green on. You got your Valentine's Day or something like that.
No. I didn't think of putting on stuff for St. Patty's Day this morning. I don't know why. I'm usually pretty good that way.
Well, I mean, people are going to be a little bit green tomorrow after drinking green beer all night. So
oh boy!
There you go. So we got a new setup, a nice microphone here. We can see Dave's face. Poor Chris Regis was a bit obscured by the rigs here, the rigmaroles, but now we got it all under control, I think. So we should be okay for today. So city council agenda. So it's going to be a little bit of a long meeting. There's lots of things to discuss here. Some of the reports we're not going to go through. They're 345 pages. There are executive summaries or summaries of exactly what they're about. And it's a lot of planning for the city. One piece of property out at McLeod Road in Kaler, that area there. And then there's another piece of property on Kaler Road, way out by Club Italia there across the street. That's going to be talked about. And it's a plan for the city, urban expansion, the urban boundary, and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to go into that. It would take all day to do it. City councilors, I'm sure, read the summary, most of them, and that'll be that. And there will be a couple that read the actual full report. And if they do, good for them, because they should know what's going on.
Well, they're called secondary plans. They are in addition to or in preview of the city official plan. So that's just a process that happens. It'll be long and dull, talking about watersheds and sub-watersheds and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And if we want to go into that, well, we'll get into the insomnia business. We can cure that with some of these reports.
How true is that? That is the absolute truth. So we're not going to really get into that on St. Patrick's Day, but I am feeling blessed on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but a green watch, I don't believe it, man.
Well, yeah, you got to have the green watch to go with St. Patrick's Day, man. But it's called a Hulk. But you know what? At the end of the day, you can go in and read all them 345 pages. What they're doing is planning to expand the urban boundary, where they're going to build the next contracted subdivision or whatever. And they got to have everything tickety-boo before they can do it. Environmental, watersheds, spotted green African frogs, whatever's there, they got to know about it to be able to deal with it. So
they got to know how that African frog got there.
It's not indigenous.
Yeah, no.
It's not indigenous.
It's an invasive species.
It's an invasive species. So, but before we get to all the city council stuff, let's go through to my sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamel Machine Company. Now, it was 70 degrees yesterday, Davey. It was 70. Then it rained and went down to in the 50s. It dropped 10 to 15 degrees, and now it's 32. So I'm going like this is why you got to get your car in. These swings in temperatures aren't good for anything. Get it in there to Wild Bill's, get it checked out. He'll make sure it's running perfect, because even though we're getting this little glitch in the temperature here, it's still a nice day out. It's cloudy, with breakthroughs of sun in the clouds even at some point. And you want to make sure your car's running tip top. You want to get it on the road. You're going to be going somewhere. You're going to be doing something. You don't want to break down. And Ken's got a spring checkup. He goes through all your systems for free, gives you the lowdown on what you need, fixes anything that's a problem, and away you go. You can't beat that. That's a spring checkup. Now, if you get in a wreck, he's got a full body shop. I mean, he's going to fix your car and send it out in showroom condition. That's the way they operate at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Give Ken a call today. Go to the website, wildbillsauto.ca. You can make an appointment. You can see what he's doing over there, any specials he has, and you're good to go. Support our sponsors, because they support the show. Don't forget to hit the button. I think it's down here or over here. Subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments. Come on, let's get more people joining up. We got an election coming up shortly, and we got another one in another year. The more people involved, the better. Leave some comments. We always talk about comments on the show. I always go to viewer comments. So You want to be involved in that and let me know what you're thinking? You got to leave a comment. Thank you very much for supporting the Your City, Your Voice YouTube channel and in the show. Okay, Davey, open the meeting up. 2:00. We start the meeting, and you know what happens at 2:00, Davey boy?
Oh, well, I got to go camera meeting, right?
Well, we're going to go on camera, but before we do that, we have to make it official. Vince Cario.
Yeah, Vince Cario. We got to welcome him back.
Yeah, Vince Cario is back on council after our esteemed colleague Wayne Campbell passed away a few weeks ago, February 27th, I believe. And sad day in Niagara Falls for a guy who's been there forever, it seems. But Vince Cario stepped up. He's taken over. He was next in line after Dabrowski, and Dabrowski stepped up for Thompson. So, I mean, this isn't surprising. I mean, we knew that these two, both Waynesworld, wouldn't make it through 4 years. I think it was pretty obvious to most people in town. So we got the two from the previous council coming back. The old boys club is back together.
Yes, it is.
So they got
it's going to drive the ladies in town crazy.
fully membered now, fully membered. But we have to get Vince sworn in before we do anything because he can't go into an in-camera meeting, which is top secret, without being sworn in as a counselor. So he's going to do that. Then they go in council. Then we sing "O Canada," Yeve Sushi. Shushi. Shushi? Shoost.
Whatever. Well, yeah.
That person, I don't know if it's a girl or a boy or a man or a woman, is going to sing "O Canada."
Yeah, that person, whatever.
And congratulations, whoever you are, and I can't wait to hear you sing. And then the land acknowledgement and Indigenous meeting opening, adoption of minutes, disclosures of pecuniary interest. See if anybody's got any on this one. And then mayor's reports, announcements, deputations, and presentations come next. We're not going to go through all this stuff. Civic recognition, Niagara Taekwondo. Then we get the planning matters. And this is going to be one they're going to talk about: owner-occupied short-term rentals in residential areas, item 8.1. I think this is going to be well discussed. There's so many people opposed to these short-term rentals in neighborhoods, and to trust the owner to be there is kind of tough. And how do you prove that they aren't there full time? You know,
I don't know. I kind of just want to go back to that who's going to be our counselor. So I saw a picture of Dabrowski. I says, what's with the Ed Grimley look? You know, like does he? He's got kind of that Ed Grimley look. You know, with the pointed hair. It's a fashion statement. I don't know. Okay, back to the normal, ordinary.
Yeah, I got that look too. See, this is why people say, why don't you get a haircut? Well, because I don't want to look like Chris Dabrowski. Okay. Today's joke. You take it easy. Chris is a good guy. I like the guy.
I still think he's trying to imitate Ed Grimley. And I wonder if that's a good look.
I don't know. But anyway, these owner-occupied short-term rentals are always a problem. But here's what I think. I think that if you're going to operate one of these, the number one's got to be licensed. That's for sure. But number two, I think there should be something posted at the front door of the house so people know that's what it is. And then they can complain about it or report it if it's causing a problem in the neighborhood. You know, it's not just the neighbors on either side. It could be down the street that they're acting up or doing crazy stuff or speeding in the neighborhood or just causing trouble. And even though the owner's there, he's supposed to be there.
Well, this is supposed to nip that in the bud, basically. This sort of what they're trying to do here for the short-term rentals is make it a good thing for someone to have part of the property turn into a short-term rental while they are there to kind of supervise it. We find that people are happier when they come down to do a short-term rental if the owner is close by.
Yes.
It's not like the Airbnb party thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about people coming down. And their reports have already discovered that there's this need because the average person nowadays, how many of them are going to go into the hotels that we have here? So they want something where they have like a little stove or something like that. Where they can bring their family, it's going to be cheaper. They can still come. These people wouldn't come down here quite likely if they didn't have this kind of an option.
Yeah,
So what you want to do is open it up to everybody.
yeah. There was a lot of letters posted of residents who had talked to this, and I found that really 100% of them were in favor of this going on.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were in
because
favor of this.
It's a much different thing where you imagine yourself. If you had a house and you need a little extra coin, you got an extra room, you can rent it out, or and then almost board a room, or you have upstairs that you could rent out, and you're there all the time, and your neighbors know who you are. It can't get out of hand. But the Airbnb left open and it just left for a party. That's a completely different thing. Plus, the other aspect which I was kind of interested in was the part where it said that this would give people a chance to make a little extra money to reduce the impact of taxes and higher mortgages on their mortgage and help them with their taxes too. So it's a recognition that the standard of living is kind of falling in this area, and this will give them a little bit of a chance to bounce back a bit.
Yeah, the one interesting guy, the letter said that it's going to short-term rentals increase Niagara's housing stock, and I'm going,
Not quite.
he's on the wrong track on that one.
Yeah,
But most of the letters were in a positive note about it. So I've got to say, public comments were in favor. So I think they'll pass this. There might be a little bit of discussion just on the nuances of, like some people may have, emailed counselors and that saying, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens?
What if they set up a tent in your neighbor's yard?
Yeah, like across the street from me. That goes back to ADUs, and I think they should have ADUs, and they should have to conform to something. It can't be a tent. So that's my thing about that. But I think it'll be all right. And I think there's going to be some discussion on just the nuances of it, not so much the whole idea, because I think people are in favor of it. It's just going to be the little details of how it's going to work, and that it'll be a little bit of a discussion. I don't see it being a big discussion, but watch for that tonight, because it could get into something really good if enough people have voiced their opinion to the counselors. 9.1 Garner West Secondary Plan Update. 9.1 and 9.2. We might as well include them. Northwest Secondary Plan Update. These are the ones with the big reports and that kind of thing. And they're plots of land basically part of extending the urban boundary that are being prepared to be developed. One's on Garner Road property. It's south of Lundy's Lane, running to McLeod, bordering Garner and Beechwood, and includes the old golf course. It looks like to me that was their Niagara golf course.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it looks like some agricultural land there too.
Yeah, and there's buildings right across the street. There's a whole subdivision across that runs from it would be Beechwood Road to Garner. Is that Garner Road?
Beechwood farther to the west.
Garner. It would be Garner to Kaler in that area. Yeah. That's all subdivision. Now they're going to develop across the street. They've extended that boundary. So, and then the other one's, like I said, on Kaler Road from the Hydro Corridor to Mountain Road across the street from where Club Italia is.
My beef with the one that Garner Road is good agricultural land, a lot of that. And can't we find some place that isn't good agricultural land to expand into?
No.
There
isn't any.
Well, the Willoughby Clay Belt they keep talking about.
You can go. Yeah, you can go over to Willoughby on the south end of town. But if we go west, there's not all that was agricultural at one time, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is the old Cupelo Park. It's empty now. They weren't using it for. I think that's where that land is, if I'm not mistaken. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. So that hasn't been used for farming or done anything with it. It's just a big tract of land in behind the Club Italia from Montrose Road to Kaler Road. It's all that area back in there. So I'm pretty sure that's the tract. It's not being used for farming. It hasn't been for years. There's that Redeemer Church there, and it used to be.
Like I have some farm plots here. You see?
Yeah, it might have.
Area there.
Might have. There's a church. There was a church in that area, and then Cupelo Park that never got developed. So, but anyway, we got to expand, and that's where they're going to do it. They're getting it all ready. There's pages and pages if you want to read them. Be my guest. We don't have time to go through it here, but it's there. And I would say probably most of the city councilors would not have read through all 345 pages or whatever. There's a ton. I think in this whole city council meeting, there's over 800 pages of PDF files to read if you wanted to go through them all. Yeah. So, you know,
I bet you somebody who might get close to that would be Laurie.
yeah. Lori has probably read through them all, but she's the only one. If you want to read about it, you can. But they're just getting this land ready.
I noticed this the third time I was reading this. That would be Laurie.
Yeah. I tried to get through it. I mean, like Dave said, it's boring stuff. Boring stuff. Read the executive summary. The summary on the first couple pages. That'll tell you what it's all about, and you're good to go. 9.3, fee waiver applications. Now, this one is going to be a very controversial one. I think it's 9.3 on the schedule, unless it's changed. And that could be because they change things like crazy. But so far, it's fee waiver applications. And like I say, when we're talking today, tomorrow morning, there could be additions to the agenda. I do them today, so you get a chance to listen to us and to watch the video. But they could change at any time, and there could be additions to them. I'll check that out tomorrow. Report tomorrow on the show if there is. Okay, so now we're at the fee waiver applications, and this one's going to be a tough one because they raised our taxes 4.9%, 23% over the last 4 years. And here's some money they're just giving out. Now, they've budgeted $51,000 for this, but that doesn't mean they have to spend it. And right now they're spending like all of it almost. They're leaving just a little bit left over for anybody else during the year because they look at this 2 or 3 times a year. And they're going to be talking about all this. And to make a long story short here, anybody who has under $500, I would tell them, no, you're not getting the money. Like Knights of Columbus basketball free throw won $154.28 to waive the cost of facility rental at the McBain Center. I would just say no. If you can't afford $154.28, you shouldn't be running an event.
Meeting room. This is the big one. I thought meeting room rental fee for Big Brothers Big Sisters Niagara in the amount of $8,800 to waive the cost of facility rental. My Toastmaster Club rents in McBain Center. We don't ask for a reduced fee.
I agree.
We don't ask for a reduced
And my thing about these, like these big amounts.
Where are they meeting? $9,000, like $8,800.
I don't know.
What part of the facility are they renting in?
Ice.
I don't know. Anyway, so I would say like something like that.
But I think that's for the whole year.
For the whole year, yeah. But do you give them a break on the whole year, and how much?
No, I would. Here's what I would do, just to make this real quick.
30%, 20%.
Everyone who's at Book Riot, Women's Place of South Niagara, they want $10,238. Charity Comedy Show, Health Niagara Health Foundation, $884.79. Now, I thought the Niagara Health Foundation is we gave them a one-time payment and they get nothing else, but now they're asking for this now. This is I mean, all these to me like Cruising the Queue in the amount of $5,750 to waive the cost of fees associated with road closures. I think what's got to happen, Dave, this is just my opinion, being the Doge guy in town, is that what we have to do is wean these people off of City Hall money. We've got to get rid of them. And yeah, okay, this year, we don't want to just throw them out. They might need the money to run their operation. But next year, they're only going to get 2/3. The next year, they're going to get 1/3. And after that, they're going to get nothing. So they got 3 shots at this. 2 more after this year. A third's going to come off this year. And then that's it for them. And they've got to run their event. And they've got to run it without the taxpayer dollars. Times are tough. We're getting our taxes raised by 5%. We can't be giving away anything. And so I would say these big ones, we just start knocking them down until they get nothing.
I don't know. I don't know if we can want to give them nothing because they are community things like the Chippewa Volunteer Firefighter Slow Pitch. These are community things that help the community. Like it's not just one person involved in this. So I'm not so sure you want to get rid of it all, but I would say go over each one of them and see which one is the most worthwhile.
Yeah, but
And
what's worthwhile, what's not? How do you make that decision?
well, you do like say charity comedy show, $800 or $900 almost with the cost of the rental fee for the exchange mark. Well,
I get rid of that.
yeah. Well, you could say, is it going to be worth it?
No.
How much?
If they
wherewithal?
can't afford $800, they shouldn't be putting on the event.
What about $2,600 for kids and the Easter egg hunt?
No,
Oh, gone. Yeah.
no,
Big brothers and
seriously.
big sisters. I would like to know why they want that much money. How come those fees are so huge? $8,800, and they could be for, like you said, for the whole year. But I don't know. It's probably not that much. I think we pay about $4,000 a year just for renting a room once a week for Honeymoon City Toastmasters, which is a pretty small room.
Well, the reason they get it from Niagara Falls is because they get it for free. If they didn't get it for free, they'd go to some hotel and ask to use their meeting room, and they'd probably donate it. But
That's
it's
hard.
so easy.
That's hard. We've tried that a fair number of times with my Honeymoon City Toastmaster Club. It's not easy to
Time to have fundraisers to raise this money. It can't be on the taxpayers all the time, and I think they should get rid of it all. But that's just me. I don't get a vote.
Yeah.
Luckily, a lot of people are saying, I'm glad that guy don't get a vote. But this will be the discussion tonight. We'll see what they decide on this, because they can give them all of it, they can give them part of it, or they can give them none of it. It's up to them. They budgeted $51,000, and all these would take up $42,000 of the $51,000, with only $8,396 left for any other events that want the same favor done for them during the year.
Do they have any oversight committee on these things?
That's a good question. Probably not.
Because if they did, then they could comb out which is really good, which isn't that helpful to the community. You want to be able to, as the city, be able to help contribute to the city's NGOs for sure, nonprofit organizations. But if you had an oversight committee, you could say, well, it's reasonable for us to give $4,000 to the Boys and Girls Club and $75 to the free throw.
I think
kind of thing.
City Council is the oversight committee.
Yeah, but the trouble with they could be. It could be, but
except they get elected.
It would depend on them, their individual oversight, basically, rather than a committee itself, which might be a good idea because, if you're a politician and you want to say no to the Boys and Girls Club or the Knights of Columbus or something like that, that might look bad on you, But if it's up to a committee,
might affect your re-election.
Yeah, that's right. So, but if it's up to a committee, nothing I could do about it. The committee said so,
Yeah. Well, that's so. Anyway, we'll see what they say. Watch that one. That's going to be something. Somebody's going to get up and say we should be given this. This shouldn't be given that. I know there will be. There always is, and we'll see what they decide on this. But if it was me, here's my recommendation: 2/3 of what they get this year, what they wanted, 2/3 they get. Next year, 1/3. The next year, 0, and they got to support themselves. They have 3 years to get their act together, and city taxpayers aren't supporting it anymore. That's just me.
Well, here's a religious one. The Jewish group wants $800. It's not much, but
no, no
road closures.
Yeah, no, they're paying for it.
Every religion be out there closing roads. Hey.
Well, that's the problem, Ray. We start, and now there's going to be other groups that want money, and there's only $8,000 left. So who do you give that to? If it just the best is just say, listen, you're on your own. Everybody's on their own. Get out there and you raise the money. $4,000. They have on Tuesday nights on Queen Street, $4 or $5,000. They can raise that money. They don't need it from the city taxpayers. But we'll see what they say. That's what city councils are for.
Yeah, well, there's Pastone's mental health, but they do get a whole lot of money from the government. So
yeah,
I don't know. I would strongly recommend an oversight committee on this kind of stuff. Yeah,
maybe that's a good recommendation right there. 9.3. And then we're going to get to, we'll get to 9.3. I'm going to talk about my second sponsor first. We're running out of time already. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. You want great pizza? Well, you got to go to Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue because these guys have one thing going for them: consistency. They use the Mancini family recipe for their cheese or for their sauce and their crust. They use a great blend of brick and mozzarella cheese. They cook it just right in the right ratios on the pizza. It comes out beautiful, beautiful. And that's what you want when you get a pizza. But to me, a good pizza is consistency. When you go there, you know what you're getting, and it's always good. And that's what they have at Pete's Pizza. Not to mention great chicken wings, poutine, steak and cheese poutine, steak subs. They have panzerotti, you name it. They got a menu that's 3 pages of goodies for you. So that's where you want to go. Open late till 2 in the morning on Fridays and Saturdays for your convenience. They use Skip, they use Dash, they use them all. And you can just call them up, 905-374-2222 to get your pizza fresh and hot delivered to your door. Or go to their website, petespizzavictoria.ca, and you will see exactly what they have on their menu. And you can order right off the website if you like. Pete's Pizza, Victoria Avenue. Support our sponsors because they support the show and they support the city more importantly. Okay, parking fund variance. Looks like we actually made money. But I went through the figures and cannot figure how they accounted for the extra revenue. But either
945, okay.
Yeah, we are up 282,826 for the year.
You're gonna miss the deferral for taxes for low income.
What's that? Oh, the low income seniors? Yeah, I jumped right over that.
Okay.
I jumped right over that. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you're a low income senior or whatever, you're gonna get some tax rebates, which is great.
No, you're gonna get tax deferral. So it sounds like to me they would just defer it until you sold the house, and then you pay it.
Oh, is that what it is?
It says deferral.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it says tax
because they
deferral.
usually give you $500 back for your taxes. Like if you're in low income in that.
It says deferral. So deferral does not mean. See? So it's.
So what do they do?
Defer municipal taxes for low income seniors. A couple associations feedback garner. And eligible low income seniors or low income persons with disability shall be entitled to maximum of $500 per year deferral of the current rate. Participation in the program requires that the property owner complete an application for deferral of municipal taxes on an annual basis. And I think it's like 10, the qualified participants, applicants may defer a maximum of $500 per year or a maximum of 10 years toward taxes levied on their primary residence until the property is sold or ownership is transferred. To me, that means when it is sold.
Well, 10 years you got to pay it back.
Yeah.
What the hell good is that?
Well, you can defer for 10 years, but then you don't have to pay it back until your house is sold. So basically, it's just transferred.
So it's a scam. I never read that, or I'd be yelling about that.
That's what it reads to me. And somebody that's better with this kind of language. Deferral, does that mean deferred for good?
I don't know.
It doesn't look like it's a break to me at all. It just means that you accumulate that value is still owed. Once you sell the house, then that gets paid back.
Usually most low-income seniors get $500 off their tax bill. That's what they get all the time. So I just thought that was it. Now deferral is a different story.
It says deferral
than getting a rebate on your taxes every year.
Yeah. So whether I'm reading that wrong or that's what it means, defer means put it later.
Yeah, really, it does. You're right. It doesn't say waive; it says defer.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I have to find out more about that. I didn't really look through it. I thought it was the normal yearly. You get $500 off your taxes, fill out a form, and that's it. All low-income seniors and people get that.
Where is low-income level determined?
Well, it's by your basic deductions on your income tax. You got to bring in your T forms to get it. Your T4s.
So what is your level of income?
What is it? 21,000, 22,000 now. If you're under that, basically, if you're on pension, you have no other income, you're going to get.
If you're already homeless, you're one of those people.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to have a residence. So if you have a tent, yeah, it could be a tent. So anyway, that's why I never looked closer at that, only because I thought it was the normal yearly thing. So that's going to have to be something now. You're going to make me look at that, Dave, tonight. I got to watch that at the meeting. Making more work for me. But that's all right. The parking budget is another thing. And like I said, it looks to me like we are actually in the good for parking, 282,000. But to me, if we took our biggest moneymaker lots, because there's probably only about, half of the lots make 99% of the money, and the other ones are dogs. Probably 10% of the lots generate 90% of the money. That's almost a guarantee if you broke it down. So my thing is get rid of them all. Lease them out. We'll make more than 282,000. We don't have to do all the paperwork for commissioners and guys going out and people hiring people and paying wages and everything else to go out and patrol these and issue tickets and everything else. You'd wipe that right off the map in favor of a one payment from the guy who's running it plus a percentage of gross or something. And we'd probably make the same without all the other nonsense that goes along with it. That's another area for Doge to look into. Doge Niagara. I'm going to write that one down. That's a Doge one.
Elon Taz.
So all the lots are a business unit. And either they're making money or they're not. The ones that aren't making money, get rid of them. The ones that are making money, lease them out and make more money without the work. That's what I would say. 9.6, finance, budget, spending, and signing authority policy. I don't like it.
I don't know. I kind of get bunged up in this. Really, who repeal bylaw 2019-097 and approve. See, that kind of thing. Executive summary in the interest of continuous improvement and best practices. City has reviews existing spending authority limits. So basically, it's giving some staff the ability to.
Well, the CEO has unlimited spending.
Yeah, unlimited spending, which would make sense because he can't hide it. He can't run away from it. The treasurer has $50,000. Thereafter, he has to come and ask for it.
You like giving the CEO, who's not elected, unlimited spending authority without going to council?
Well, I think it.
That's the question here.
Yeah. Do we want to do that? Do other staff?
We? As us?
As
me? No. You? I'm not sure about you.
No, I would want to know why he has unlimited spending. But I know he can't spend what he wants to and run away because there's all kinds of eyes on him.
Well, the thing is though, is that who's running council? This is what gets me. The city councilors that we elected running council or his staff, because now they're all got authority to spend any money they want.
Well, normally staff would have a lot of latitude because they're the ones that are being asked to do these things by council. So if you need a study, if you need this, you need to have to go here or there, whatever. Of course, you're going to have funds in which to do that with.
So that's what it comes down to. Like, do you want to give them the authority to do that?
Look, general supervisor has $7,500 worth of spending he can do. So I don't know, fill up his truck, whatever.
Is that cumulative or is that one time?
I believe it's for the year. Through
is it 7,500 every time he can go up to 7,500 without authority?
I do not.
Or is it a total? It's probably
It's a limit. So
yeah, so it's like a credit card.
Yeah, it would make no sense to have someone with unlimited, like if it was any other way, because you have unlimited. That's actually per annum probably, but for 50,000, I don't think the treasurer go ahead and I think it's cumulative. But I don't know, because I didn't think of that when I read it.
Well, that's another one to watch, everybody, because here we go again with the money and the Doge agents. We're going to be watching it to see what they say, and then, of course, we'll see what happens. I would imagine they'll okay it. That's just the way they do things in Niagara Falls. But I would hope somebody would stand up and look at some problems there might be.
I think it's an allocation of funds, basically, so they can keep an eye on. So you can't have $7,500 each time. A limit of $7,500 purchase. It has to be an allocation of funds for the year, $7,500.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what they say. But I don't like the idea of giving everybody just the ability to go out and spend. That's the problem in a city. We spend.
Yes. I don't want to give an expense account to anyone there.
No, you see what happened in Washington. They ruled that they couldn't take away their credit cards, so Elon Musk put a $1 limit on every card. Yeah, okay, you can keep your cards. You got a $1 limit. Go buy yourself some jujubes, and that's it. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what they do with that one. But that's another one to watch. 9.6 if you're going to watch it. 9.8, reconstruction and widening of McLeod Road from Kaler to Beechwood. Much needed. There's no doubt about that. But here we go. Another capital budget amendment. Another $5 million that they're going to put towards the capital budget. And at the end of the day, we don't have any money, so we have to raise your taxes 4.9%. Now, in the last two meetings, they've spent another $7 million they allegedly don't have.
Yeah. Well, what about the contingency fund or reserve funds?
Oh,
how much are in there?
Sure.
Like
not enough to give back to us.
Yeah, that was a question I wasn't able to.
Oh, there's lots of money. There's $100 million probably floating around in reserve funds.
I know they have reserve funds.
Oh yeah,
and which ones can we take out of? And I don't know. Why didn't they see this cost coming? You knew the McLeod Road from Kaler to Beechwood was going to have to.
So why didn't they okay it? You're right. Yeah. Why didn't they okay the capital budget?
Yeah, it was like the city planning probably had anticipated this long ago.
Good point. No vision.
Yeah.
Or they just know they got all. They probably just know they got all this money hanging around.
They need a new prescription for their vision glasses.
Don't have to worry about it. We got all kinds of money hanging around. Don't worry about it. We'll just take it out of the taxpayer reserve fund.
We need to pay for it. We'll go to the chief administrative officer. He's got unlimited funds. So
yeah, I just tell him to write the check. Cut the check there, Penguin. But yeah, that's another $5 million. That's $7 million I've accounted so far this year. And it's going to be well over 10 or 15 million when it's finished. But, like $7 million that they spent over and above what they've approved for the capital budget probably comes around 10% on our tax bill, which means they raised it 5%. So we could have got a 5% rebate if they use this money for the taxpayers, but they don't. This is how they do it. They pull these stunts, and I don't know why. Well, I think we know why. But anyway, watch that one. See if anybody brings it up anyway. Hey, wait a minute. We said that. Where are we getting this money? Oh, reserve funds. Is anybody ever going to ask why they don't use reserve funds to help the taxpayers? I don't think they'll ever ask. I don't think so. I don't even think they care, to be honest with you. Okay, statement.
Mysterious reserve fund.
9.9, statement of remuneration and expenses for members of city council and commissions. Now, this is a good one. 9.7 was drinking water system summary report and overview. You can read that if you want. I just skipped over it. It's a good summary. I read it. It's all right. They're going to keep your drinking water good.
Yes. Well, yeah. So if you don't have clean water and you get sick, you can't pay your taxes. You can't get work, so.
And they mentioned Walkerton, of course, because that was the one big thing years ago that spurred everybody to watch everything before they killed a bunch of people. Yeah, so we got this 9.9, the statement of remuneration expenses for council members, and everybody should look at this. This is what we pay your city council members. And I found some really bizarre things in there. If you go through it, do you want me to tell you what they are?
Okay. Do you want to tell them what everybody makes first?
Well. I mean, they make a base of $28,392. Then they get money for being on committees. They get expenses. They get health benefits and that kind of thing.
Okay? What about the ringmaster? What does he get? He gets $1.24.
Well, he makes a lot of money. He's $175,000 a year. The ringmaster, Mayor Jim. Maybe more. That's what we see.
Yeah, that's what his totals here, yeah. 175.
But the highest paid counselor comes in at $49,529.54 from a base salary of $28,392.
That's Lori.
With the excess coming from committee, I wasn't going to mention any names.
Yeah. Well, it's committees and stuff like that.
It's public.
Yeah,
it's
so
public.
she's in at $3,675,000.
Yeah, from committees and benefits of $11,338.03 and expenses of $6,124.51. Now, being on so many committees and running around for all these committees, because she gets almost $4,000 from being on committees, which means you're on a lot of committees. I can see her expenses being more to be able to go to these committees and maybe go to meetings that she needs out of town to keep up with the committee and that, right? I can understand that.
Well, Newsday's close with 1,500.
Yeah, but look at her committee money, $975. That's probably one committee. So why are her expenses
very high? Yeah.
Yeah. So why are her expenses 1,000 more than Lori's? 1,500 more than Lori's.
Needed signs for the PC campaign.
Anyway, they're just discrepancies. You look at the numbers, 9.9 on the agenda. You look at them. I'll talk more about them tomorrow. But they all get $4,877.36 for sitting on the board of Holdco,
Okay, so
which is a nice little perk. The other thing I also noticed is that most of our counselors were lucky. They have really good attendance records, and that's a good thing. They're there every week. So good for you. Good for you. You should be there, and you are. Now, whether you're awake and doing anything, that's another story. But you're there. You're there. I got to give you a gold star for attendance.
Just a little tab of no doze before you walk into the meeting.
That's it.
Keep you awake.
10 is the consent agenda. And there's another one you want to read, 10.1, property tax rates. And I went through all this, and I figured out that the mill rate comes in at around 1.552048%, which makes sense for the taxes I am paying on a valuation of a $280,000 residential valuation, and makes my taxes around $4,200 a year, which is what they are. So I think that's the mill rate if you're figuring out mill rates, but you can look over that report. There's a bunch of different numbers you got to go through, and they break it down to residential, commercial, residential, fourplexes, twoplex. They got everything there. They got everything there. Now, 11.1 to 11.7 is all okay, but no two flag raisings as usual. Do you see anything else between these numbers 9, 10 that you would be concerned about, Dave?
I lost my page, so I'm getting it back now. But consent agenda, yeah. Well, the financial statement of the remuneration, is that what we've already talked about, which would be very interesting to keep a close eye on, particularly if they like to break down what is in the committees, how much they cost us. As we saw there, Ruth Ann was only in one committee, but she had really large expenses. So how is that? I'm not accusing her of anything.
No.
I'm just saying, what was it that was so expensive? And even Lori's break hers down, like what committees cost what, and so on. She's in more committees, that kind of thing. So I like to hear that. Just like to hear her explanation of it. I do not suspect any kind of deceit or chicanery, but I'd just like to know what the breakdown of that is.
Well, exactly. And I just look for bizarre variations, like when you see things that don't make sense. Like she makes $3,700 from committees, which means she's on a lot of committees because a lot of them don't pay that much.
Yeah, they fit.
It's $75, $50 a meeting, right?
Yeah.
So you have a meeting a month. That's $600. So you have to be on a lot of committees and be really involved with city council to be able to have that much coming in from committees. So that's a good thing.
Actually, yeah.
That's a good thing. No, that's a good thing. So I expect her to have more expenses because she's got to drive to wherever the locations are. She's got to spend money on whatever, to be there. And sometimes these committees, they may have meetings outside the area. They may go to trade shows. Maybe if you're on the maintenance committee or whatever it is for the city roads and that, you might want to go to Good Roads to see what the newest thing is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different things that they would want to attend, which makes them more able to make judgments when staff is asking for money. So The more committees you're on, the more of that you have. But when you have $975, that tells me it's one committee probably. And then you have expenses $1,500 more than somebody who's on 10 committees. You have to wonder, like, what are these expenses? What are they declaring? What are they?
I'm sure they submit them, but
They have to.
As a member of the public, I would like them explained.
Oh, we should know.
Yeah.
We should know as official Doge agents in Niagara Falls.
Yes.
We should know. But see, we can't break it down. So right away when you see this and you can't break it down,
We can't ask the city clerk because I think we're going to fire him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The problem is that if you can't get the numbers and you can't break it down, then you start having these weird imaginations in your mind of what they're spending money on. Like, what are they actually spending money on? And not only are what they're spending it on, who's approving it?
Marijuana, cigarettes, then they get the money and they spend the money on pizza.
But so anyway, you know, like that's basically why when you look at this report, you got to pick out these little weird things that I see. I don't know if anybody else notices it. Maybe they just don't care, you know. But at the end of the day, I look at these little weird variances and say, why? Why? I just want to know why. I'm like you. I don't say there's anything wrong with what they're doing or their expenses they've handed in. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'd like to know exactly how it works. And I think everybody who is shelling out taxpayer dollars, hello there, selling out taxpayer dollars, I think they all should know, and they should want to know.
Yeah, indeed.
You still got your mind on the visitors walking by over there.
Sorry about that. Testosterone has sort of stopped the flow of blood to my head.
You get in this little office here, and you're a celebrity, you know that, right? So the other one I got to, if you have no others in that little range there, I don't see anything big in there, is 13.2. The Main and Ferry BIA, of which Councillor Ruth Ann Newesteg is chair. Now, I'm just going to wait and see if she declares a conflict of interest here, because they have to approve this budget since it's, and since she's the chair of it, obviously she can't put her hand up yes or can't put her hand up no, because whatever happens, right, is like her. She doesn't personally have a vested interest, but the group that she has, the BIA, Main and Ferry, does. So I'm surprised she didn't relinquish the chair when she became a councillor, number one. I find that odd. She wouldn't just step down because now she can't have any say in whatever they do. So we'll see if there's a conflict here at the beginning, if she declares it at the beginning or before this meeting happens. And also what I noticed on this is the fee of $686.25 a year to belong to this BIA seems low these days, doesn't it?
I don't know. I have no idea what these
$50 a month, considering the BIA is spending close to $100,000 a year for streetscaping and beautification projects and the increasing cost of goods and services. I mean, that seems low, $50 a month. I would say $100 a month would be more in line with today's, and that would give them more money to spend. And they've got money in reserves that they're spending for beautification and that kind of thing. But
well, where does their money come from? Beautification. Obviously, it doesn't come from their membership fees.
Yeah, well, it does because they don't spend it. Like this year, they're spending a little bit more, so they've taken money out of $50,000 out of reserves.
The reserve fund.
Yeah, they always have reserve fund. Everybody's got reserve funds except me. I don't have any reserve funds.
No, me neither.
My reserve fund is Canada Pension.
Yeah.
But so I mean that's not a bad thing that they're smart. They're squirreling away some money. So when they do want to spend a little bit more to revitalize a part of the street or do something on the street, but I think more realistically, $100 a month jump would be a little bit better to help them do it. I mean, it's up to them, obviously, but $50 a month to be in this, there's 70 members or something, seems a little bit low. You know, $50, $600 a year and 70 members is $42,000. Double that, and now you're at $80,000. A little bit more money to spend over there. So up to them. I don't care what they do. I'm just thinking.
I have no knowledge of what it should be or what it is. So I
what it is, brother. What it
reserve
is.
comment until I am more enlightened.
What it is, brother. And then we have the regular things going on with the correspondence from Niagara Region and the anti-racism committee, and correspondence from Director of General United Hate Against Canada. Oh no, everybody hates Canadians now, I guess. That's why they got to have that.
Everybody loves us.
Special occasion permits on 13, which is for the Hope Gala. Yeah, they'll get that. I mean, that's no problem. Then ratification of in camera. Notice of motion, new business number 15. See what they have to say. And we'll get to number 16 in a minute. I've got to do my third sponsor, Hamill Machine Company. Your favorite, Dave.
Yeah, it is my favorite. Yeah.
I heard you want to go on a tour.
I do too. Like the Green Bastard from Parts Unknown has offered me such.
Yeah. Well, just call Bob Benner up and he'll take you through. I mean, you're going to be blown away by the things that Hamill Machine Shop, what they do over there. Been around since 1948 in the city, and they do everything from light industrial work to heavy industrial to creating, innovating, and developing ideas for business and industry around town. And they go all the way from that to just Joe Blow, who wants a gate for his backyard that they can design and fabricate and get it powder coated and get it installed for you. So they do any jobs, big or small. Your dad ran a machine shop for a while. You know, guys come in, they've sheared the pin off of something. It needs to be keyed again because it's broken.
There's a shear pin in there for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, welding, fabricating, whatever you need. They have 3D printers. They have water jet cutters. They can do whatever you need around your house. And if you go to their website, hamillmachine.ca, you're going to see the stuff they do for big business, big industry, like the wine industry, rich products, agricultural products, hydroponics, harvesting. They created new machines to make it quicker, and they ship them all over the world. Hamill Machine Shop in Niagara Falls does all that.
That's amazing.
It's amazing the way they work around the world. And guess what? They're right here in Niagara Falls. Right here, I can throw a stone and hit their shop on Bridge Street. Right over here, Hauser's Welding they have. That's Hamill APS, which is Agricultural Product Services. So, I mean, unbelievable. You know, go over there if you need anything fixed around the house. You need something machined. And if you got a business, go see Hamill. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. They're going to take care of you. They're great people. They support the show and they support Niagara Falls. HamillMachine.ca. Go see what they do. You'll be flabbergasted. Unbelievable for Niagara Falls.
Yes, indeed.
Support our sponsors because they support the show. And last but not least, 16 bylaws. And basically what the bylaws are the things that they talked about the whole meeting and now they need passed. So they're going to go through them and they're going to say, is everybody anything? But well, nothing happens unless somebody wants to pull something out of it and talk about it. I don't see anything in here that is pullable. If you want to call it that should be pulled. I mean, they're most of the stuff they've already okayed, and they're just ratifying them basically. City plan, occupied rentals, a bylaw to amend the city's vacation rental unit and bed and breakfast establishment licensing, which was talked about before. So all these things have been talked about previously, and they're just getting around to giving them the third reading and final reading and okaying them and all that. So basically, what you want to watch for tonight when you go through this, right, are these big items. That's what you want to really watch the show about and see how they argue. If they argue about them or they just pass them. They're going to do anything. And that's your 8.1 owner-occupied short-term rentals.
Yeah, that's going to be important.
That's going to be important. 9.1 and 9.2, these plots of land. We'll see what they say about that. I think they'll just say, okay, looks pretty routine to me, but there could be stuff in there with the watersheds and everything else.
Yeah, watersheds and sub-watersheds and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's so if you're having trouble sleeping, you don't want to tune in.
Yeah, 9.3 free fee waiver applications. I think there's going to be some discussion about that. Right after they raised our taxes 4.9%, I think somebody's going to say something about that. Maybe Jody Burdett will be there talking about that.
I don't know how many votes do you get, Jody. What, 200 and something?
236.
Yeah. Got some support.
He's got some support out there. Knights of Columbus. Okay, that's all your money. Then your next one is 9.6, finance budget spending and signing authority policy. See if they argue about giving some of these guys this authority. I don't think they will. I would be asking questions, but I think at the end of the day, you're right, Dave.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of oversight here.
You can't go to city council with every dime. You would never get through anything if you did that. So
yeah, well, I've seen it where in construction crews and that big industrial, and they take the foreman's credit card away. Well, before too long, they're giving it back to them.
Yeah, so the foreman's got to go to the head office, grab the credit card to go up and buy some new pylons that are worth $50, $100. Yeah. It's just not. It just doesn't. It wastes more time, and time is money.
All you have to do is question the receipts when they come in. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
If you see something outlandish there, like Hawaiian vacation to buy pylons, the best pylons are in Hawaii, and it took me 2 weeks to find them.
Yeah,
well, you might want to question.
And I didn't think I could carry them all, so I brought my wife and kids.
Yeah.
9.8.
Please disregard that alcohol expenditure there.
9.8, reconstruction and widening of McLeod Road. I mean, they're talking about that a little bit, probably. I don't know if anybody's going to talk about 9.9, statement of remuneration and expenses for members of council. I doubt it. I don't think any of them are going to question anything. That would be that wouldn't be smart, but certainly we can as citizens. Oh, what else we got here? I think they're the big ones on this. I think they're the big ones on that. Other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward meeting. I think it's going to be a little bit long because some of these items could get into a big discussion. And people want to know more, councilors want to know more and have questions ad hoc. In other words, they don't read it, but as people start talking about it, they decide, oh, I got a question. Other than that, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Well, there's one proclamation, flag raising for U.S. World Press Freedom Day. I misinterpreted that as some sort of kind of a very woke kind of thing, but it wasn't. It was really is a thing about trying to empower the free press all over the world. So that's, I don't know. I don't like the flag raising thing myself, but that was interesting to read about. And the other thing here, flag raising request for Nikola Tesla Day. What is it? How come there's a cult? That guy's got a cult. Every street has to be named Nikola Tesla. Yeah. The sun has to be now renamed Nikola Tesla.
Statues all over the place.
Yeah. What is it with that?
Well, they love Nikola Tesla.
Well, one particular ethnic community can see no other hero.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? They're not loving Tesla. Tesla's in the States. They're burning them, spraying them with the swastikas, and doing all kinds of stuff to them.
Don't do that. Well, remember, there's people in the Tesla factory that are making them. Think of those guys. Don't love or hate Elon, whatever. The guys that are making it in the factory. That's important.
Well, what gets me about that is that the same people who a couple of years ago, the people who want they're worried about global warming and everything, and Tesla built this. This was their hero. He was Nikola Tesla to them. All these his electric car breakthrough. Everybody's buying them. Got to have them. It's going to save the planet and everything. And then as soon as he gets associated with Trump, they hate him. They hate his cars. They hate everything about him, even though he's the guy. I mean, he's this guy. He just sent a rocket to save some astronauts who got stuck at the space station because of a Boeing sending him there and couldn't get him home. Who's saving him? Elon, but they hate him. I don't get it.
Well, look, Biden was the one. It's really weird because Biden was the one that wanted all these EVs that were going to be the new future, but he snubbed Musk. He snubbed him terribly, right? He put him down. And now Trump, who is the guy that dismisses EVs and wants more oil and gas cars, and he's the one who's actually buying one on the front of the White House.
Yeah.
Oh, major advertisement there. But I like it. Like the whole idea is so weird to me. And of course, we're gonna put 100% tariff on Chinese electric cars, but if you let them in, there would be a huge amount of your carbon gone. So what is what?
Yeah,
You know?
I know. Exactly. They don't make sense. Anyway, on that note, that's City Council. Watch it tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Don't forget, it's not on today. It's on tomorrow, but you can watch the show to get the highlights here, and then pick out the parts you like. It starts at 4. The actual meeting starts at 2, but we don't see the in camera. You might be able to watch Vince Cario get inaugurated, get sworn in. If you want to see that, then they're going to go in camera. So the meeting probably starts at 4:35. So watch it tomorrow. You can see it on NiagaraFalls.ca. You can see it on Koja Go, the local channel, if they have it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Or on YouTube. You can watch it live on YouTube if you like.
Vince probably missed all those parties in the in-camera meeting that he hasn't been a part of, and he's going to get ripped in there, I think.
Well, I'm hoping that Vince Cario, because he's pretty experienced, he's run a $150 million business before, and that I'm looking for him to maybe be some common sense on council and some voice of reason. That's what I'm thinking. He's only got a year and a half. I don't think he's going to run again. This will be it for him. He's just filling in.
Well, learning curve.
He may want to get stuff done.
Yeah, so to put a newbie in there, the learning curve would take some time, so whatever. So in the meantime, you could do is everybody taking that post so that we don't have to run a by-election and spend the money on that.
Exactly.
But
or they could have gave it to me.
Yeah, could have.
They could have gave it to me. They could have said, "Paul, you come in for a year and a half and just make sure everything's okay."
Who's that? The guy in the dartboard and the in-camera? Oh yeah, that guy.
Oh, that guy in our meeting room that we throw darts at every. You want him to come in? Yeah. Anyway,
we can throw real darts at the real person.
Yeah, why use a dartboard? Hey, stand over there when we have our meetings. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Of course, this is Your City, Your Voice. I'm Paul K. Lemire. This is Dave Wheels Wheeler. And we're going to get out of here now. But don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, and Hamel Machine Company. And also, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments. Whatever you do, put them in there. I'll read them on air. And we'll get to them tomorrow, some of them, if they're up there. This show should be on by 3 o'clock, so you can watch it then on for you radio people. You want to watch it live, you can see the antics of us in the studio. And that's that for today. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Don't drink too much of the green stuff because it will give you a headache no matter what you think, even though it's St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick wasn't immune to the green stuff.
No, well, St. Patrick wasn't even Irish. He was English. Oh, I should have said that.
That screwed St. Patty's Day up totally. But he did drink Guinness.
Yeah, well, he was a Romano Anglo person, I think, and he was grabbed by some pirates and taken to Ireland, and now he's the patron saint. Yeah, he wasn't Irish.
He beat all the snakes out of Ireland, and they named the day after him.
Yep.
There you go. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed day. God bless you all.